Welcome! It's your friendly neighborhood Badger here. I'm back! Sorry if you missed me, I went on a little bit of a holiday, but I'm back. You missed the videos. Now, there's some videos here. Surprise, surprise! I am here with a new build. And this time, Discharge is back. Now, I know a lot of you remember my Ignite Elementalist Discharger, and unfortunately over the past couple of leagues, that build has got quite a few nerfs over and over again to its damage and its survivability and everything like that. But I thought, you know what? I kind of want Discharge to still be strong. I want to have fun with this build and this ability. It did actually get massive buffs this league to the on-hit version of the build. So I decided, you know what? Let's play around with that. Let's play around with on-hit Discharge. And what better way to do that is than play an Assassin. Now you can see here, I've only got two different types of charges. I've got Frenzy charges and Power charges. I've actually decided to forego Endurance charges with this Discharger, just because they're a lot harder to consistently get consistently happening every time that you do Discharge, which is on a 2-second cooldown. And it means that we can just crazy scale Badge of the Brotherhood and Farrell's Fur, have basically a 2-second rotation of our charges here, along with the 2-second cooldown, meaning that it's extremely consistent. I don't need to throw an ability on the enemy to potentially generate all the charges I need. We're just always going to have our charges up every single time that we discharge. And I'll go over exactly how that works. But first of all, I'm sure that you want to see the character in action and the area of effect. So you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. There we go. That is the discharge. And you can see the charges come right back up here, and then they're back up again. It's kind of like this. And then we can also lightning warp around, and we can discharge everywhere. And yeah, it's working extremely fine. Now we're using the same kind of concept we were using on the Ignite Discharger when we were playing it, with a Farrell's Fur, and then Aspect of the Cat in either our gloves, boots, or helmet, linked with less duration and swift affliction. Now with less duration and swift affliction, because we're also scaling a lot of less duration on the tree here as well, with duration mastery and window of opportunity, we can also use lightning warp with faster casting in the setup there, so it's a really nice 4-link. So that's what I'm using for movement. It's actually, you know, on no cooldown at all, and we can just kind of like zip around like this. I'm still kind of solving my mana problems here. I need to try and figure out exactly what I'm going to be doing about that. It's not too much of an issue. With concentrated effect in here, the AoE is still pretty crazy. You can see it basically goes out to about the edge of the crafting bench here, where the AoE hits. So you've still got about a 60 AoE. It's around about 60 AoE right there. I'll put the paste bin down below of what I'm working on right now, but let's run in and we'll do a Maze of the Minotaur right here so you can see what the damage is like. Right before I jump in, half of the gear is really good and half of the gear is not so good. The rings and the belt are basically placeholders right now. I'm just going to be getting more life on my belt and everything like that, and my rings, to bring this very close to 5,000 life right here. Defensively, we're using Purity of Elements, we're using Grace, we're using that in a +4 Surge Binders here, because Surge Binders is giving us a lot of increased spell damage and elemental damage. So that means that without any flasks, we're sitting on 24k evasion, and with a flask up, with a flask up, try that again, with a flask up, we go to 35k evasion right there as well. My spell suppression is getting close. We're at 79% spell suppression, so there might be something I'll do to the tree to be able to get that extra 20% right there, but it might be a little bit. Obviously, my Chaos Res is not very good. We're going to be fixing that, but we do have, because of Purity of Elements, Ignite, Chill, Freeze, and Shock Avoidance at 100% right there. And we do also have a ton of elusive and elusive effect through the Assassin. But let's jump in, let's do this one. It's white, I'm running it white because the build is we're still piecing the build together. But relatively speaking, this is actually not very expensive for the amount of damage that is coming out of this right here. So let's jump into this and get this one sorted. So you'll be able to see the clear is, it's okay moving between packs. You know, we're kind of jumping between packs. Assets don't seem to be loading that well. There we go. So you kind of, you know, you discharge a pack, you wait for it to come back up, go again. The sounds for the for this MTX of Lightning Warp are a little bit strange. But I don't want to switch that Lightning Warp back to a normal one. And gem levels are not, you know, fully at 2020 for everything. As you can see here, I'm still leveling up an Ellie Pen. I'm not using any Awaken gems right now, apart from when I switch in Awaken Increased Area of Effect, but that was like, you know, when I bought it, like 30 chaos or something like that. It was very, very cheap. But yeah. Now, the big thing about this as well, we are using Trinity. And because we're a slow-hitting build using Trinity, it does mean that our first hit against bosses is never going to be our full hit. Especially because we're also using Elemental Equilibrium with Armageddon Brand, and also shocking the enemy as well. So our first hit is going to be creating the shock, and also giving us our Trinity, but it's not going to be 100%, you know, the biggest hit. So the second, third, fourth hit, those are the hits that are going to be much bigger. But let's have a little, yeah. We'll just wait for him to tunnel. Put our Elemental Equilibrium on, and then we hit like that. And then we go again, and we hit again. We almost got him in 3 hits. So I'm looking at 2 hits very soon, once I start getting the rest of the damage up. But it's very, very fun. I haven't played a build that chunks this hard for quite some time, and it was very different with the Ignite Discharge as well. It was a very, very different type of build, because you hit the build, you hit the Discharge, and then the Ignite just like drains all the health down. Right now on this character, we see our tooltip is 4,337 average damage, probably closer to about a 10 million average hit. They have around about 40 million health, so I think it's around a 10 million average hit right now. My POB with similar gear is showing about 17 mil, but I just don't have everything sorted yet. And then there's the extra next thing of using Swift Killer from the Trickster, which is a Trickster Ascendancy point that gives a +1 Hour and Frenzy Charge, which, you know, we just get 11 instead of 10 right here. We go 10, 10, and that goes up to 11, 11. And then that basically means, plus all of the increased damage that we're going to be getting, we're going to have, I think the Swift Killer gives us 35 to 40% more damage. So that will definitely be a 2-hit on Minotaur right there, instead of the 3.2 or whatever we were doing right there. So Swift Killer is going to be absolutely massive for this build, but it's really, really nice to gear this character in what was about 1 hour of gearing. On my old Saboteur, we changed it to Assassin. About 1 hour of gearing, not too much investment. I'm not going to say that this is scuffed or cheap or anything like that, but it's not crazy investment for the fun that we're getting out of this. Discharge is viable. I've also got slots here if I want to, well, you know, I can take some stuff out here, and I can do a 4-link arc and some stuff over here instead. If I want an arc, Varlark for clear, I can definitely do that. That's going to be hitting around 2 million damage. For clear, that is totally fine, and I'm honestly thinking that that's going to be a really good idea to do, instead of having to wait every 2 seconds, use our discharge type of thing. That's the build. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm going to be sticking on this character to grind my challenges. At least 36, probably 38, and potentially 40 challenges on this character. But we are also, on stream, going to be playing some Elden Ring. Granted, I haven't booted it up yet, and I've heard that there's a lot of performance issues. We're basically trying that right after I record this video here and edit this one. We're going into Elden Ring and seeing if that's working. So there may be some Elden Ring highlights on YouTube, or there may not, depending on what the performance is like, because there's some issues with performance on PC. That's all I have to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to hit the sub button down below, and until next time, Badger is out.